Hello everyone and welcome back. Well, now that you know what monitoring as code is, let's delve into the different approaches to implement it. In this video, we will explore the difference between imperative and declarative code for defining monitoring resources. I would like to highlight, folks, that these approaches are not exclusive to monitoring as code. They are also fundamental to the infrastructure as code, especially because both share many of the same principles and tools that we're going to see and use during this course. So let's get started. The first one is the imperative mode. This is the oldest and more traditional approach. The imperative code specifies how to achieve the desired state using a sequence of commands or steps. Usually, companies implementing this approach are using tools like Python and Bash scripts to define these commands and steps. And there are three main characteristics for the imperative approach. The first one is process focused. You define the exact steps needed to achieve the desired state. The second one, explicit commands. The user must provide the detailed series of instructions to reach the desired state. And this increases a lot the cognitive load on the users using this tool. The last one, is order dependent. The sequence of operation is crucial because the same steps performed in a different order might produce a different results. And this is terrible when we are handling infrastructure or monitoring resources as code. Well, the next approach is the declarative approach. And the declarative approach is very different from the imperative one because it is focused on the desired state instead of the how to achieve the desired state. And this means that the system handling the desired state will run all the required steps to achieve it. And the three main characteristics for this approach are state focus. You define the end state of your infrastructure without specifying the exact commands to reach that state. The next one is abstracted operations. So the underlying tool like Terraform handles the process of converging the current state to the desired state. So which means is, imagine that you want to create an alert in your Coralogix account, and then you're going to declare how this alert should look like on your Coralogix account. The underlying tool, in this case Terraform, using the Coralogix Terraform provider, will understanding this declarative that you have provided and will ensure the desired state on your Coralogix account. The last one is the idempotent. Declarative code is naturally idempotent, which means you can run it multiple times and it will always produce the same result without any unintended change, which is amazing for this kind of proposal. Well, now you know the difference between what is a declarative and imperative mode. Let's see the key difference between them. Well, the first one is simplicity and maintenance. The imperative code can become complex and harder to maintain, as it requires detailed steps and logic for each task. On the other hand, folks, the declarative approach is easier to write and maintain, mainly because it abstracts away the procedural logic and focuses on the desired state, reducing the cognitive load on the users. The next one is error handling. The declarative tool handling the declarative code like Terraform manages all the error handling and the state convergence, reducing the chance of human errors. While the imperative approach, the developer must handle errors explicitly, which increases the risk of mistakes, okay? The next one is the idempotence. The declarative approach is naturally idempotent, as we discussed previously, ensuring the consistent results with multiple runs. The imperative code achieving idempotence requires additional logic and checks, making the code even more complex. The last and not least, flexibility. Well, the declarative approach is a little bit less flexible in terms of custom operation, since it abstracts away the procedural logic, while the imperative code offers more control and flexibility for custom operations and complex workflows. Well, folks, those are the difference between imperative and declarative code. In the end, we will always go with the declarative approach first because it's easier to maintain, it's easy to scale, and we can leverage a lot of resources we have in the industry like the Terraform, the Coralogix Terraform provider, or Kubernetes operators. So I hope you have enjoyed, and let's go to see the difference between centralized and distributed monitoring as code implementations.